Does it ever feel like you have a never-ending list of things to do and you'll never be able to get them all done? You might have a problem with saying no. This is something that I see all over the place. The calendars are filled up, the to-do lists never actually end, and the days start with an immense amount of anxiety around all the things that have to get done. It all comes down to the fact that there's enormous opportunity all around us, and our default response to all that opportunity is to say yes. Now, this might seem like a good thing. It might seem like we're seizing the day. It might seem like we are making the most out of our time and our energy. But I think what's really going on for a lot of people is they're saying yes because they're afraid to say no. In some cases, it's a fear of saying no because of conflict avoidance, because there's a fear of letting others down. But there's also another fear that I see in a lot of folks around saying no, which is tied to a belief that if we're not saying yes to every single thing, and this is going to negatively impact the success of whatever I'm working on. In my clients' cases, it's the success of the business that they're running. There's a conversation that I was having with a client earlier today, which was around my client's relationship to the pace that he was working in. There was a belief with him, which was if we're not operating at max speed, then our chances of success are going to drop to zero, that we're going to lose. We're not going to be successful in running this business or building this business. And if you zoomed out, you really started to see that he was saying yes to everything, saying yes to investor intros, saying yes to new customers coming in the door, saying yes to new work that the team had to take on all the time, with very little awareness around capacity, with the pace at which things were moving, and long-term sustainability. In other words, it was just this constant reactive pattern where every single thing that came across his way, he had to say yes to. And you dig in further and further, this is fundamentally coming from a scarcity mindset. The belief being that this is the very last time that we're going to get this opportunity. There's no opportunity like this that's going to be coming along our way in the future, so I must seize it now. And under this sort of mentality, it makes sense to say yes to everything. It's like you're trying to survive out in the wild and you come across food to eat, and then you believe that this is the only time I'm going to eat for the next week. Well, of course it makes sense for you to go after it, but we don't live in that sort of environment today, and especially if you're running a startup where there's pretty much endless amounts of opportunity and things to say yes to. When you go and do this enough times, you're going to end up being overloaded. You're going to end up stressing yourself out and your team out, and ultimately leading to burnout. So what is the solution? Well, I think there's two things to keep in mind. The first is you have to get clear about what you're actually trying to achieve. In other words, be strategic. What is my goal? The number one thing that I want this business to achieve in the next month, 6 months, year. What must be true for us to get to that point? Let's say you have a 1-year goal. Okay, what needs to be true 6 months from now in order to know that we're on our way there? What needs to be true 3 months from now to know that we're on our way to that 6-month goal, and so on and so forth? The more you're focused on the really strategic elements of the company's success, the more you're going to have a filter for what comes across your desk and what you're going to say yes to and what you're going to say no to. Because if you don't know what you're working toward, then of course you're going to say yes to most things, because they're all potential opportunities to see what else is going to be behind that opportunity, right? You're effectively just letting your environment determine what you should be focused on, rather than having a clear vision of what you're actually trying to achieve. The second thing is just to practice saying no. Practice letting an opportunity go by, or practice rejecting or turning down an offer that someone's making, to you. Not every offer that's made to you has to be agreed to. Even, and that sounds obvious when I say that, but a lot of people have trouble politely declining. And so part of this is just practice. Find opportunities to say no throughout your day or throughout your week. And notice if that feels weird, if that feels uncomfortable. For a lot of people, myself included, it feels really, really strange. It's like you're violating some rule that you've been operating off of probably most of your life. So a lot of this has to start small. You have to develop that muscle and that skill. So my invitation to you is to look at all the different things that you could be saying yes to, and then pick one or two opportunities and say no, to decline that. Because the more you're able to do this, and by the way, this will feel uncomfortable as you do it, but it starts to become less uncomfortable over time. But the more you do this, the more you start to realize that the sky doesn't fall, the world doesn't end, and there will be plenty of more opportunities ahead. This allows you to get more focused and actually be more effective on the things that you really want to achieve, as opposed to the thing that's just coming your way this week. So, hope that's helpful, and I'd love to hear about the ways in which you relate to the idea of saying yes or saying no to different opportunities, and how that impacts your ability to achieve the things you're actually focused on. So until next time, thanks for watching, and hope you like and subscribe as well. See ya.